Good morning. Let's see. We're going to remove that. I'll go in. I don't want the family plan of oh no. Like and subscribe. Hold on. I gotta bring this a little closer. Okay. I think you can hear me. Let me see. Yeah. Okay. I gotta hit the Safari thing. Hold on. For some reason, OBS doesn't like Safari. Let's see what's up in pre-market. Nothing big. Wells Fargo's up 1% to 38. We bought it at 40. Morning, Joe. 5 by 5. I don't know what 5 by 5 is. Bank of America's up 1%. We bought it at 29. It's at 28. But those are long term. One thing I wanted to do, maybe I'll do it later. Well, maybe I'll do it now. Let me see. Head comparison. We'll put in AAPL. We'll put in Amazon. We'll put in Google. We'll put in Microsoft. Oh. So we'll remove that and we'll put in XLK for technology. Okay, compare. So this graph, I'll just take a shot of it so I can have it. Screenshot. Morning, Sherry. That's a good one, James. DPST, I got to add that into my notes. Hold on. I have almost no notes today. Just so you guys are aware. I am being extra lazy this morning. I'm going to put these on so I can actually hear myself loud and clear for the sound. Oh, I didn't even know that, Joe. I like how Brian comes out every morning. Let's make some money. Futures are going up. I mean, and this was, just so while you guys are looking, I'll talk about it, but this was part of the chart that I wanted. I actually want to do another one. And I'll put this over here because I want to do XLV, which is the healthcare, and charting. And I want it year to date. And we'll add in XLF. XLE. Okay. Compare. Because those are, you know what? I'll add in XLK here. XLV is in there. Okay. Compare. So this is year to date on Seeking Alpha, and I know I posted in the Facebook group. I'm still waking up. Your boy did a lot of miles over the past 4 days, so yesterday was recovery day, but I was spent in the car and I'm still not comfortable. But this is a chart. I just go to Seeking Alpha and I look at this. Every quarter, I try and look at this as much as possible. Oh, hold on. I'm getting texts. Okay. There we go. I got to call Mark back. Okay. Every quarter I try and do this sector kind of look, because what I want to look at is what sector's hot. Year to date, you can't always tell. The past performance doesn't predict future performance. Yeah, Sherry. By the way, it was one of my bucket lists was to hike on a trail with wild ponies, and I did that this weekend. So, but it was awesome. I'm just tired. I'm tired. The good news is that, I'm 52. The guys I went with are in their late 30s. I think VJ's early 40s, but late 30s, early 40s. And on the ride home, they said I nearly killed them. But here, S&P is up year to date, 2%. Well, where's XLV? That's healthcare, down 7%. XLF is down 9.73. Those were two that led last year. And XLE is down 8%. Those are kind of three that really led last year. Good. And what was technology? Technology was down. And where are you with technology year to date? 16%. So within technology, I just, look at my Apple, up 23%. Amazon, which has been a dog, is up 15%. Google is up 14%. Microsoft is up 16%. Overall, again, XLK is up 16%. So when you're looking at over kind of your portfolio, that's what you want to look at. Schwab, by the way, is back down to where the CEO purchased it, the price that he purchased it at. And at some point I have to look at. Okay, there we go. And let's go and do some scans, because that's really what I need to do. And so everybody is aware your boy here is probably not trading. And it's not, it's just, it's a crazy market. I don't trust that we know everything. Energy. Let's do energy. Okay, scans. NXE crossed up. Let's look at it. That's a pretty good classic. Hey, let's cross the 200-day and no real catalyst coming up. But there's the October lows of the S&P. That's kind of interesting. Levered ETFs. DRV. Boom, boom, boom. It's kind of just hovering above that 200-day. Since this run in February. We'll put it in. DRV. UDOW. This is the other one. UpDow. The Dow has kind of been in a slide since February. And so you got this little peak up here in March that was, we're going to be up in March. No, we're not going to be up in March. Boom. And I'll look at DPST because I want to look at the day trading, the 65-minute algorithm. And there's a couple of people who signed up for TrendSpider over the weekend too. So maybe they're actually listening. So you can get the 65-minute algorithm set up as well. That UDOW, that's an interesting one. Okay, levered ETFs. Let's look at Vanguard. And I need to add some to the Vanguard. Spider sectors. Any sectors cross up? Nope. You know what? I think this is the 65-minute. No. Let's do the 65-minute. Oh, yes. I want to look at spider sectors. Up. There we go. So if you're day trading, this is the 65 minute. XLK has a bullish run. XLY and XLC. Let's see. We'll put this up here. I'll put this in my notes. Sectors. XLK, XLY, XLC. Yeah, I kind of agree with you, James. There's a great, by the way, since you guys found me with podcasts, if you're not listening to the All In podcast is a fantastic, these guys are billionaires. They're way smarter than I am. I don't agree with all of them. I think Chamath is an absolute criminal. I think David Sachs is smart, but definitely skewed in his thought process. And I think the other two are, take them or leave them. But they're entertaining, and they do explain things extremely well. And what was interesting, and I'll talk about it more on the podcast, but what I found interesting about this week's episode was, and I think it's released every Friday, but this particular week's episode was going over how the Biden administration last weekend saved Silicon Valley, and how it's just kicking the can down the road. The actual bank, and these guys again are billionaires who angel invest and startups and are very smart about this stuff. And I would not be surprised if for some reason Silicon Valley Bank is actually, or some billionaire creates this, a bank that is just 100% your deposits. Meaning, if I'm typically, in Silicon Valley Bank, they were paying, interest, 3, 4, 5% on your deposits, blah, blah, blah. You could, access your deposits. They were in safe bonds or whatever, whatever it was. But I would not be surprised if you get a bank that has incredibly high fees, incredibly just makes no sense for the normal person to put their money in. But Silicon Valley founders will absolutely put their money in because it's a 100%. They don't take your money and invest it. That's not the bank that these guys want. These guys want the bank where your money is held. So the deposits, there's no possibility of a bank run because your money is actually held. It's not reinvested. And there's a way to do it, absolute way to do it. But I found that fascinating to listen to. Just crazy fascinating to listen to. I think we did spider sectors. We already did this. I don't think anything comes up. But it's a great, great podcast. I really, really liked it. So if you're looking for something to listen to on a road trip, I talk enough that my friends didn't want to turn on the radio. They turned up the music when I started talking too much. I was in the back seat. So I did not drive on this one. First road trip in a long time that I have not driven. I went with two guys who work full time, and so like normal people, and they didn't want to put up with the, hey, we got to stop to charge. Gambling is not going to be a good thing to invest in today. DocuSign had a pretty good earnings, by the way. Smile Direct Club up 7% in pre-market, but oof. Credit Suisse is at 90 cents. I have no idea why it's over 27 cents, but this is the POT ETF, MJ. Best Buy has a cross-up. Oof. God. Not if we're going into a credit crisis. Let me look at this real quick. They have a 4.8% dividend. It's not a bad one. It's in my personal list, so it's not up today. But Zebra Technologies, nothing. Let's go to the ARC Holdings and see. There's probably a ton that crossed up on the ARC Holdings. Oh, get out of here. Clear all. Bum, 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 bum. I don't have many notes, so I'm going to try and keep my talking to under an hour. DPST. I think PacWest. I forget what PacWest symbol is. Let me see. PACW. That's what I thought. I did not see Bigfoot. I was approached in a Mountain Town Ingalls supermarket by an interesting, what my friends thought she was under the influence. Started rubbing my head. Stranger. I screamed stranger danger and like a child. People at the store thought it was funny. I don't know. It was a scene, man. It was a scene. Yeah. We had quite a few. By the way, and if anyone's interested, I'll kind of send you the itinerary of what we did. It was a cool weekend hiking. Eastman Kodak. This is the one that just shot up a couple of years ago, I guess. I don't know why ARC is holding Kodak, but Garmin, Hasbro. Yo, Hasbro. BYD. This is the one with self-driving in China. I think that's what they are. Let's go to the Dow 30. Let's go to the big boys. I will scan energy, and the only reason I'm continuing to scan energy, like I said, has done horrifically. But I'm continuing to scan energy because it's the price of oil is so bad that at some point it's got to come back in my mind. Again, we're all just guessing. But at $64 per barrel with WTI, I can't imagine 3M. I don't like 3M, but I mean, IBM is a good one because that one's been under its 200-day. You got a gap up here at about 138. You're covering this gap. You've covered it. So now you got to go up and cover this one. And I think that's probably what you're going to see. But Visa. Look at Visa hanging on to the 200-day. Great earnings. I'll put in Visa too. Funny that MasterCard didn't cross up. Maybe it did, but it didn't come up in the scan. NASDAQ 100. Let's look at the NASDAQ 100. I think there's going to be a bunch. Boom, 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 boom. I'll put in Schwab too. Lulu. Ooh. Lulu. ADP. CPRT, which I have no idea what they do. I'm not going to bring it up. CPRT, let's see what they are. They're in the NASDAQ 100. Auto and truck dealership. No dividend. Target price is 80. They're trading at 69. Performance year to date up 14%. That's 2021. We're in 2023, so nobody seems to cover them. Provides online auctions and vehicle remarketing services in the U.S. Sale at 23. $69 back in February 22nd, 69. 36. Boy, this guy sold 2.5 million, exercised the options on 708,000. In the last year. Probably not. I mean, he's a director on the board, so he's probably not. I mean, look at last year. These guys sold it 110, 114, so it's probably not worth that amount, and they knew it. Interesting. I'll bring it up. Why not? CPRT, Catfish, CTSH. I don't know what CTSH is. Wow, there's a Cognizant. I'm not going to bring up everything. You know what? CPRT I'm not going to bring up. WBA, which is Walgreen Boots. Zscaler. Cybersecurity. StarBucks. Rivian with a cross-up. I saw a lot of Rivians. Warner Brothers with a cross-up. I did see a lot of Rivians. They're getting killed. I again think that they are not worth the price of admission, but let's go to the S&P. S&P 100. There we go. We got a lot of scans. I'm obviously going to do SPY and the Qs. The Qs. Square, Target. PXD is up 0.52. It's down to 183. I got my dividend. So I was happy about that. So it bought more. CVS crossed up. IBM. We talked about IBM. ACN. Accenture. It's a pretty good chart right there, but I don't know enough about them. MasterCard, there we go. Since I brought up Vista, I'll bring up MasterCard. Oracle, podcast favorite, and I said do not buy it in the 90s. It's down at 85, crossed up again. I think you'll get another chance for this one to go to the 90s. Visa, Starbucks, Walgreen Boots, okay. Let's go to the energy sector and see if anything crossed up, but it's a Hail Mary because energy has sucked. And I don't see anything that I actually like. You know what? Let's look at Ring. It's REI. Hallador. Nothing that I love. Let's look at REI. Where are we with REI? Oh, God, it's just continued to slide down to $1.70. I hope nobody's still in REI. Remember, I only brought that one up because I like the symbol. In fact, one of the guys we went hiking with, he bought all of his stuff at REI. He walked into REI and he's like, I'm going hiking. Give me the special. And he wound up not having blisters, which is big. Having good poles, which didn't break, which is big. We were out in the rain. It was 34 to 40 degrees, I think, the day that we went. What? There we go. We had a cross up here, looks like. When was this? March 16th? Of SPY. It's using the 200 day as its resistance level. Let's see. I'll bring up the banks first. What the hell? And then we'll go into SPY. SPY to cross up at 395.11. That means QQQ. Let's look at QQQ. Yeah, way to cross up at 294 on March 15th. I think that was the day I left. 294.71. Dum bum bum bum. I'll take this out. Okay. Okay, if you are here, hit that thumbs up button. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel on YouTube. I'm going to start the podcast now. The links are down below. So when I talk about the Facebook group, just go to the link tree. It is listed down below. Click the link tree. You can subscribe to all the socials. They're basically right below the picture on the link tree with the logos. All of the tipping, Visible is a phone service if you're paying more than $30 a month for unlimited service. Go to Visible. The link's down below. You save $20 off your first month. I save $20 for my first month too, but it's $30. Ooh, good look, Joe. Let me see. Let me look at REI. See the PEs. I mean the PE is low, but they have a debt problem. Target price is $550. August 1st, 2022, downgrade, but they raised the price target to $750. The average price target, like I said, $475. Let's look. Look at that. March 15th, March 16th. I mean, the CEO buys what? Less than $200,000 worth of shares? At 172, 178, 170. Let's see what. I mean, their market cap's only $314 million. So it's not like they're. You know what? Let's go to FinViz. I'm going to go to the home of FinViz. Oh, yeah, Sherry, our favorite SMMT, which you bought your. I think you got it at 150 around here, didn't you? I think that's where you got. Let's look at our big insider buys. Top insiders, GTLB. Wow. GitLab bought $12 million worth. Oh, and look at GPLC bought $12 million of Google and GitLab. Wow. Wow, that's big. That's March 13th. March 16th. Nothing huge with the latest. I mean, you can look at some of these tickers with trendline support. You can see these types of things. Some of the tickers with channeling up. BBTX, Zeta, IBA, HIB. They're within the channel here. You can look at the channel down. Double top is a gap. Gap had a double top. Onyx, double top. There's the HG, Heritage Global, BUY. Multiple tops, MXE. Looking for a symbol I actually know. Medtronic. Multiple bottoms, which is not good. Haha. Morning, Britney, bitch. Devon Energy. Head and shoulders pattern. Head and shoulders pattern. Not good. Not good. Still own Devon. And I realized, I made a mistake, and I won't bring it up, but you guys get the exclusive. I have Devin in a freaking retirement account, and I could have sold it a bunch of times. Douche move. Total douche move. This is the major news section right here, so you can see it. But, I mean, look at this is Fridays. This is just your day, so it's not. There's your crude oil, $67. It was at $64 earlier. Your natural gas is up 1.67%, so your BOIL is going to be up. Okay, I'm going to do the podcast. I'm going to say BOIL. BOIL is still in play, I think. BOIL on the 4 hour. This is the 4 hour one. Yeah, 4 hour. You're out. You're out with a 13% gain. You're still out. There's this gap here between 649 and 724, but you're at 466. Doesn't have you in. Ironically, look. So since it got you out, since it crossed down, that MACD is just hanging out. Just hanging out. There's nothing going on there. So, okay, let me record this because it's 9:30 right now. Market's about to open. Good morning and welcome back. Welcome back to me. It was a great vacation. If anybody wants the itinerary, I will post it for you if you'd like. It was great. I mean, essentially, Thursday we took off. We drove up to Tennessee, Knoxville. Jeff did a hike at Jefferson City, then went up to North Carolina. I forget the town. Crumpler, I think it was where the house was. I stayed in a tiny house, 3 of us in a tiny house. Looked like the guy had just built it. It was phenomenally clean. Great little house. We got a great price on it. Host was phenomenal. And we hiked with some wild ponies at Grayson Highlands. You can see some of the videos that I did. We went to the Great Channels in Virginia, which is basically a maze of boulders at the top of a mountain that you hike up to. We did a bunch of lookouts. I mean, it was pretty good vacation. If you want to see some of the videos, subscribe to the Facebook group. The Facebook, all of the stuff is in the link tree down below, so you can see it. I know I had some subscribers to TrendSpider. They had a 50% off sale over the weekend. Again, follow TrendSpider. If you sign up, you can use my code DSP25, but when you get these specials, you don't have to use the DSP25. They'll give you the 50% off. Just make sure you email me with your email address when you sign up. And then I can get you linked into all of our all of the algorithms, the 4-hour algorithm, 65-minute algorithm, all of the watch lists that we have, the core portfolio, the energy names, the levered ETFs, low-cost Vanguard indexes, things of that sort we can kind of look at so that we can get you started with what you see on my screen. So, and I'm looking at BOIL. I'm going to start out here. Well, let's talk about the banks. So what happened over the weekend? UBS, I forget what, I always say USB. UBS took over Credit Suisse. And the bank was worth, we went over Credit Suisse before. When they had a cross up and they were going through a crisis, I think it was back in somewhere in the neighborhood of, I think it was back here way in November, where I said, hey, it's at 418. This is a bank that probably should be trading around 5. It went up to about $5 from 418 and, made a good amount of money, got out there with a loss according to the algorithm. But I said, hey, when you take a profit, you take a profit. Immediately went down to 3, kind of stayed there until a couple of weeks ago, maybe last week. And then it just shot down. Well, UBS wound up buying them for 27 cents a share. Just basically outright bank robbery. If you want to talk about that, it is absolutely bank robbery. So that happened. Then what you have with FRC, and since I haven't been on, I said FRC was a trade. Absolutely 100% a trade. It was not something you want to hold on to. I said, hey, there were a bunch of traders that bought it here in the 40s. and it would probably looking good. Well, today you're at $19. You are down 17% at $19. It is putting in a floor at $18 to $19. It is not over. I think this one continues to go down. They are in danger of actually being taken over or bought. And if the UBS and Credit Suisse is an indication, this will go for less than $1 per share. And your shareholders will be basically bankrupted out of this. So if you've got it, I don't care what your loss is. I don't care, if you want to just ride it out, absolutely 100% just ride it out. My particular thing is I'd probably take the $19 while I could get it. But your boy sometimes loses on this stuff too. All of a sudden you're back up at $100 and you could have 10 times your money. Yeah, that happens too. So, your guess is as good as mine. Again, look at the volume level that you're dealing with. It's going down. It's shot up here, but it's going down. And there is danger that they're going to be taken over. So where do you want to put your money? Well, DPST is the ETF that we talked about, the bull for the regional banks. And this one has had huge volume. You've got a MACD crossing up here, $8.53 right now. On Friday, it went down to, the low was $7.45. I personally would say if you get in this, try and get in under 8. If you can't get in under 8, maybe the low 8s. I see a gap up here at 11. I don't know that you're necessarily going to get this. Realize this is teetering on absolute zero. This is a bull levered ETF. So, for instance, if you go down from 8 to 4, realize at $4, it's not just 50% that you have to claw back. You have to make 100% gain. And the stock market going up 100% is a lot slower than going down 50%. So you can take it. Again, the algorithm looks like it's going to cross up. If you want to trade on the 65-minute algorithm that we have on a day trade, it still has you out. Doesn't have you in, still has you out. Probably will get you in, I'd say, probably in the next candle, 1035 probably, because it trades on a 65-minute. That's probably what you can see. It's got some momentum on that MACD. It's got some momentum on that RSI. That 8-day, the 9-day is turning up a little bit. The 21-day is still going down. That 50 is just in a death spiral. But you do have gaps up here at 11. So I don't know what you want to do, but take your DPST and your FRC. Now we can talk about some of the winners. Pac West got an influx of cash. They're up 17% today. The algorithm doesn't have you in. Let's look at the 4-hour algorithm. You got to wait for TrendSpider to go in. But they did get an influx of cash. They look to be fine. And what a lot of the banks are talking about is with all of the cash flowing out of Silicon Valley Bank, with all of the cash flowing out of some of the other banks and moving into the bigger banks. We talked about Bank of America. I think anything under 30, you can absolutely buy Bank of America. I think Wells Fargo. Anything under 40, I think you can absolutely buy Wells Fargo. These are not things that you're going to trade for a short term. These are things that you're going to trade for a long term. I do think that we may have more downside to go. I just don't know what the Fed's going to do this week. That's what if he raises a quarter point, I think you see a slight win. If he just flat out says, hey, we're not raising rates, then the question is, what don't we know? Because I think that's not met with, oh my God, hallelujah, thank God. They've stopped raising. We're going to go down. I think you get questioned as to what do they know and what don't we know. Schwab, we talked about. The CEO put in $2.5 million, almost $3 million of his own money at about 59. It's trading at 58.35. I would say that one is a good long-term buy as well. Schwab ain't going down. Schwab is not going to have a run like the other ones had. I think Schwab is absolutely 100% perfectly safe. Now, here's what you have to know. If you want to know a detailed explanation as to what happened, go and listen to the All In podcast. These are 4 billionaires. They release a new podcast every Friday. It is an absolute masterclass on what happened last week with the Biden administration saving the regional banks and the Fed. Give credit to the Fed. But go and listen to that. Essentially, what I can tell you is there's all four of them do agree. We kicked the can down the road for 1 year. Nothing more. And they said, look out for the middle of March next year. Because if you extend another year, great, it's 2 years. But we essentially have done what we've done with a lot of political issues and just kicked the can down the road. What they did was they lended a couple of $1 trillion to these regional banks. And they said, hey, here's a couple of $1 trillion so you can buy short-term treasuries, which are still paying at the time when they were buying. Remember, it was just 2 weeks ago. The 2-year was about 5%. I think it was 5.2, 5.3, somewhere there at the high. Well, what they did was they had said, hey, we're going to sell you $1 trillion of these short-term treasuries. And they come due at 5%. In a couple of years, you can, if they continue to go up because the rates continue to go down, then all of a sudden you've got high leveraged assets for the next couple of years that you can sell against these low cost losing assets that are 10 and 20-year treasuries. So essentially you're basically saying, hey, you can have short-term high value that you can buy at a discount, and we'll loan you the money to do that. Then you can sell off these and basically get your deposit, get your cash out, blah, 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 without these huge losses. So just realize that there's a lot of financial manipulation going on. I still think that these small regional banks are a gamble, but you can absolutely day trade these. Trade them on the charts, understand your charts. So where are we on the other things? Meaning SPY. Let's go and look at SPY. While I was gone in the 4-hour algorithm, we had a cross up on SPY at 395.11. And that was on March 16th. So I think it was the day that I left. 395.11. We've since come down. We're at 391.06. You're kind of using that 200-day as your resistance level. It is absolutely looking like it's just bouncing off that 200-day. The 50-day is kind of coming down towards the 200. You may have a death cross here. Again, remember, death cross is when the 50-day crosses the 200-day. The 9 and the 21 have already crossed the 200-day. So you're kind of down here. The question is, where do we go? Well, there's a lot of kind of outside catalysts that'll happen. But again, you're still in this one. I probably wouldn't buy SPY here. I'd probably wait to see what the Fed does, and then we can kind of determine. I think Fed Day is going to be a big one. QQQ, we had a cross up as well at 294.71. That was a little earlier, March 15th, but you're up at 303. And what I wanted to show here, SPY and the Qs, major difference. So here's what I wanted to show you. There's a chart here. I'm on Seeking Alpha, if you can't see it. And what I'm doing is I'm looking the year-to-date return of S&P 500 versus the XLK, which is the technology sector, and then Apple, Amazon, Google, and Microsoft. Those are the core holdings in my portfolio because I'm a major tech investor. Tech has worked over the years. That's what got me to my retirement. Until it works, until it doesn't. And again, last year, you saw the ARK funds are a great example. They worked until they didn't. They were great for 4 or 5 years. I had them 100% return, 40% return in a year. It was great, unbelievable. Then they worked until they didn't. So you can see the S&P is up 2.42%. Well, XLK, which is just the technology spider sector, is up 16.39%. Okay? Your boy that has 45% of his portfolio in Apple is up 23%. So, and Apple, by the way, if you're subscribed to TrendSpider on their social media platform, you could see on the weekend, they said, hey, Apple is entering the same territory as AMD was before AMD took off. So Apple up 23%, Amazon up 15%, Google up 14%, Microsoft up 16%. Major difference. And let's go to the two sectors that were expected to be up this year. Big ones because they were up last year. They work until they didn't. So what are those sectors? XLV, which is the healthcare sector. XLV is down 7%. Again, the S&P is up 2%. You can see it on this chart. XLF, which is the financial, horrible sector right now, down 9%. XLE, which is energy, down 8%. So those are three sectors that did really well last year and held up against last year's down S&P. And they're all of a sudden down year to date. Again, the XLK is on this. That shows you it's up 16%. So it works until it doesn't. QQQ is one that is up a lot more than all of the other indices. It works until it doesn't. But understand that bonds will play a huge part in this. And so you have to just kind of look at it. Speaking of tech, this week's my weekly stock pick, Microsoft. Let's take a look at where Microsoft is because again, he kind of plays against momentum. And I always say, hey, I'm going to buy my weekly stock pick. For the past few weeks, I've said, hey, I'm kind of holding off on this one. This is one that I own in my portfolio. I'm probably not adding to it. And I'm not adding it to it right now. And the reason being, because you can see my algorithm says buy at $254.99. And that was last week on March 13th. You can see this run up all the way up to 274. Look at that MACD, how high that MACD is. The RSI is up at 65. In my mind, again, he plays the Dow, so he's only got a choice of 30 stocks. Well, this one has been a huge one. I think he probably should have picked Apple. But again, you're at 154 on Apple. I think you have more upside on Apple. You got this ascending triangle. The algorithm has you in at 153. Microsoft is a little different. But again, I personally, I'm not picking this one. I think last week's I didn't pick either. I didn't buy into it. But I own this one, and I own a large amount of this one. I just don't think for a week I'm going to buy a couple of shares and then just kind of dump them next week. I'm just going to sit on my hands. And I told the YouTube audience, hey, I'm just kind of sitting this week. I mean, I'm taking it for what it is. I do think that we have more downside. And again, if we get the Fed coming in and not raising rates, what don't we know? That's the question. Oil is down at $64 a barrel. If you ever want to know what oil is, just go to FinViz. It's at 66 right now. It was at 64 while I wrote my notes down. 66 is where it's at for crude oil. So natural gas is down at 231. We can look at BOIL. The two that you want to trade for oil is UCO and SCO. UCO is the bull. And this is, right now you're out of oil. UCO doesn't have you in. It has you out. Let's see if SCO has you in. SCO probably should have you in because SCO, when oil goes down, SCO goes up. Yep. SCO had you in on March 9th at 24. You're trading at 31. Fantastic trade. As oil has slid into this weakness because everybody thinks we're going into a recession. And oil, during a recession, it goes down. So SCO is your play. Now, the problem is with SCO, your RSI is at 72. It has had its run. Do you want to play UCO? I'd say yes. The problem with oil is it is highly manipulated by governments, OPEC, wars. I mean, Putin visited Ukraine this weekend, pissed off everybody. He's meeting with China today. So I don't know that I'd necessarily get into here until the algorithm tells me to get in. And even then, remember, UCO is one where you lose 32% just over 1,000 candles, so 2 years. You lose 32%. Buying and holding UCO over the past 2 years, because it's been in such a bull market, you make 64%. So asset performance is just kind of holding on to that. Now, BOIL is the one with natural gas that you want to trade. BOIL has been in a slide. We've talked about this one. It had this nice 13% win in the beginning of March. It was from February 23rd until March 8th. Had a great run here. Great run. It's continued to slide. BOIL has continued to slide. It's down below the 9-day. Never really, in this run, it got above the 9-day. The second it got below the 9-day, it just took a crash down. And it has stayed below that 9-day. So on the 65-minute, we can take a look at this one. Let's see if BOIL is a buy on the 65-minute algorithm. Nope. You're out on the 65-minute as well. So BOIL, the opposite of BOIL is stock and ETF KOLD for cold. Because, when you don't have natural gas, you can't heat your house, so you're cold. That's the reason why, if you didn't want to know. The RSI is right at 60. It's kind of in no man's land, a little high. You're coming out of a 13% win on this one. I'm sorry. I'm still waiting for it to calculate. And you're not coming out of a 13% gain. There was a huge gain in KOLD from December all the way to February. And it's having problems running. TrendSpider is kind of holding up on me. I'm hitting pause. I hit pause. TrendSpider's screwing up a little bit. Do. Yeah, so Brian, so it's not a horrible thing that unemployment would be down. It's good for inflation because that lowers people's buying power. It's bad for the economy because it lowers people's buying power. Inflation has been at a low, unemployment has been at a low. They want it to rise. I should say unemployment, when it rises, it reduces people's buying power. When it's down, we just have too many people able and willing to buy things. Think of the airlines. So United Airlines, I think last week came out and said, hey, we've got a problem where we're going to be short on revenues because of the cost of our pilots and blah, blah, blah. They're having to pay more for people. And so when you get a low unemployment rate, you have to pay more, which again costs the company more money, which means their products cost more, which means they're passing that on to you, which will mean that you're going to pay more, which raises inflation. So it's kind of like, okay, it's a economics thing. And I am by far, I took a community college course on economics at one point. And so, I can write a book on it if I were on Twitter and say that I'm an expert, but I'm really not. I did go on a cruise with a World Bank economist, though. I don't think he wants his name said because listen, an economist doesn't want people knowing he knows a podcaster. But let me get back to the podcast. Sorry, I had to hit pause. TrendSpider was having some hiccups per se. So I reloaded. KOLD, you're in at 53.14. You're at 64.12. Pretty good trade on that one. There's sectors on the 65-minute algo. So if you wanted to day trade on the 65-minute algorithm in TrendSpider, there's a couple of sectors that are in there. XLK, which we talked about, the technology fund. This one's currently in a buy. The buy was back here on March 15th at the 14:55 hour mark. Again, it's 65-minute candles. You're up at 142. It's kind of coming down. Don't know that I'd necessarily get into this one right here because you've had a pretty good run on this one. Now, the algorithm, over 1,000 candles makes you 2% over, that's basically over 8 months. 6.2% if you just buy and hold. So you're doing better with XLK. We talked about technology. I'm a big technology fan. XLY, consumer discretionary. You'd be in this one. But again, I think it's kind of crossing over. Actually, you just got to buy 141.34. You just got out of a 0.43% gain. This one loses you 5%, whereas buying and holding the stock for 8 months loses you 6%. So it's a pretty good, and if we go 7,000 candles deep, this one always is a positive on the 7,000 candles deep. But this buy at 141.34, you're at 140.92. Again, it's consumer discretionary, XLY. The final spider sector that's in a buy on the 65-minute algorithm is XLC. This one is, let me see, what is it? It's the services, select services. So XLC at 55.03. This one, over a 2-year period, you lose 0.11% versus a 4.18 if you just bought and held. You win 33% of the time. So those are ones that if you wanted to trade and you wanted to trade certain stocks, XLK, XLY, XLC, if they fall within those, you're probably in a buy scenario. But that's it. Let's go over some scans because I don't have anything else that I really wanted to go over. I don't, Microsoft. Again, if you want to see Apple on TrendSpider, go to their page and look at that Apple versus AMD. That's a good one to look at. NXE. This is in the energy sector. This is one that came up with a buy. And I'm waiting for the cross up on the 4-hour. It's probably going to tell me it can't run again. But NXE. This is Next Gen Energy. We'll go to FinViz and we'll look at this up a little bit while TrendSpider is trying to think. Uranium play. This is down 16% year to date. It is down 32% for 1 year. It's not making money. Its average target price is $5.02. April 11th of last year was the last time it was covered with an upgrade. There's no insider buys. There's no nothing. You can kind of do your research on this one. But NXE is it showed up on a scan, and it's $3.70. And it's trading at $3.70. So NXV is one. DRV, which is a real estate bear, came up with a buy at 55.22. 55.22. You're trading at 54.81. This is the 3 times bear real estate. So you're expecting the market to go down. Basically, the real estate market to go down. I think KB Homes reports this week. Lennar, I think, was last week. Or somebody else, another home builder. It was a good report. So I don't know that you necessarily want to go into that one. But DRV had a cross up. UDOW, which is the Ultra Pro Dow. This is expecting the Dow to go up. The Dow is underperformed the NASDAQ and the S&P this year to date. In fact, I probably should let me do a chart. Seeking Alpha. Let's look at the indices year to date on Seeking Alpha. We're going to do Dow Jones Industrial, DIA. And we'll go to charting. I'm doing this live for you just so you can kind of see how I do it. And then let's add a comparison and we'll do the NASDAQ. There we go. No, it's going to be, do I want the Qs? NASDAQ Inc. is a business. So it's not, I forget, IBEX. Is it that? No. Let's just do Qs. We'll add these in. We'll compare these. So this is the Dow. The Dow is the orange. It is down 6.83%. The S&P, or what? We got to go year to date. Sorry, year to date. Dow is down 2.83. The S&P is up 2.82, and the Qs are up 14%. So the Dow has underperformed. You can see, I mean, just from year to date, it is greatly underperformed. So it's not shocking that UDOW has a cross up. This is a triple levered Dow 30. And so the expectation is that the Dow is going to go up. If we look at this chart, you're under the 200-day. You go back to the October lows, you were at 40. 50.36, probably not a bad buy. You're at $50.90. It's up 3% today because the Dow is up slightly. So UDOW is one. Best Buy. If you've gone into a Best Buy and you bought a TV within the past couple of years, maybe you want to think about Best Buy. Best Buy is up 1.79%. Their ex-dividend date is March 22nd. It's about a 4 or 5% dividend, 4.8. Do your research on it. It's got this gap down here at 70 that it hasn't fully covered, but you have a gap up here at 85 as well. So if you think electronics, we're going into a good thing, Best Buy is monitoring their resources, blah, 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 might be a good thing. One symbol that came up on a scan, that I do not like, but I will mention it anyway, is 3M. 104.35 was the buy. I don't think that this is a good buy. I think they've screwed service members. I think they've screwed up a lot. I'm not a fan of the company. I'll bring it up. Do your research. IBM crossed up. This is a old tech. It's kind of under its 200-day, well under its 200-day. The buy-in was cross up at 123.79. You're trading at 125 right now. You have this gap up here at 138. You covered this gap back here. That was from October, where they gapped up on their earnings. Well, came back down, covered that gap, and now you got a gap up here at 138. Here's what I want you to know about IBM. If we go over here and we just look, say you want to buy IBM at 125. Are you doing a bad thing? Well, hell no. The 52-week low is 115. This is a company that gives a 5.3% dividend. Now that you're not getting 5% on a 2-year, you're at least getting 5% out of this one. It's down 11% year to date. It's up down 2% over 1 year. Its low is 115. Its high, 52-week high, is 153. The target price is 147 by the analysts. You can see February 6th, downgrade, buy to hold. But look at those. January, 140 price target. If we go to insider buys, it's all option exercises. There's nothing really crazy here. There was one buy from a director for $125,000. He bought at 125. Kind of think, well, maybe he, wants 125. So 123.79 is IBM. Visa had a cross up, and MasterCard did too. We'll go over that one a little bit later. But Visa had a cross up at 217. For me, a little bit expensive. I like it under 200-day, and I like it under $200. Their earnings are coming up April 25th, so there's no rush in this one. Lulu had a cross up. If you're into yoga pants, if you're into wearing kind of athletic casual, Athletica, Lulu is your one. 292. I've said it many times. Under 300. This is a great one. Their earnings are coming up March 28th. Lululemon is a good one. ADP. And I'm not going over any of the fundamentals, so do your own research. I'm just giving you the scans. ADP. This is a payroll company. 215.52. You're trading at 213. I like this company. If you've owned a business, you probably go with ADP. I know through ID Shop, which is a sponsor of the podcast because they employ me, idshop.com. If you need any badges, any printing materials, anything, idshop.com, go to them. They use ADP because I get my payroll from them. Walgreen Boots, WBA, they had a cross up. 33.53, 33.29 is where you're trading. This is part of the healthcare sector. You're just going down. Look at where you were at the October lows. So they have their earnings coming up March 27th. WBA, we'll go over CVS as well. Zscaler, ZS. This is a cybersecurity company. They have a cross up coming 107.77. You're down at 104. They just had their earnings. So they've been in a slide since they had their earnings. Something went on. Do your research. I own CrowdStrike. I own Palo Alto. Zscaler's a good one as well. Pick your battles, like we talked about with Apple. Pick your stocks. Starbucks, it's been in a slide. Finally has a cross up, 99.07, under the 200-day. MACD is well down. RSI is down at 44. Their earnings aren't until May 2nd. They just had their earnings. They just had their dividend payment. No real catalyst, but I would expect it to be fine. So Starbucks there. Rivian, RIVN. I saw a ton of Rivians driving up to Virginia. 1321 is the cross up here at 1298. They do have some financial issues. So check it when you can. Okay, I'm hitting pause. I'll be right back. I ain't hitting the 30 minutes. about that. Hopefully you guys are still around. I'll look at DPST. Is DPST taking off? Let me get back in here. Rivian, okay. WBD. Sorry, had to pause there for a second. The next one, Warner Brothers. We went up into the cabins. I got to tell you, it was fantastic internet. Up in the middle of nowhere in freaking Crumpler, North Carolina. 1434 is the cross up. Your RSI is down at 46. I think the MACD is down. They just had their earnings. They were trading at about 15 with the earnings. Do your research on this one. I particularly, Warren Buffett seems to think that this is a great one. The forward PE is 15. They're not making money. Year to date, it's up 51% though. I mean, you can see it was down here at about $9. It's up 51% over a year. It's down 44%. So the 52-week high is 27 and it's at 14. Do your research on that one, but WBD had a cross up. Let's see. CVS. I said we'd get to CVS, and then we'll get to MasterCard. CVS, same thing as Walgreen Boots. I mean, these things trade kind of in tandem. 75.85, and you're trading at 75.57. Their ex-dividend date is coming up April 19th. Let's see what they give on a dividend. They're getting into the minute clinic kind of stuff. Dividend is 3.25%. PE is 23. Forward PE is 8. It's down 19% year to date. Over 1 year, it's down 30%. They're just pouring money into their healthcare business. I like it. I don't love it. But MasterCard, we talked about Visa earlier. MasterCard 349, 54 is the cross up. The MACD is low enough that I think under 300 for this one is a great price, but you haven't been there since October. Under 300 is probably where you want to wait. If you get antsy, I think this gap here at 317 to 327 is fantastic. We'll finish off with a podcast favorite, Oracle. I said you don't want to buy this in the 90s around their earnings. Wait for it. You'll probably get it better. Well, the cross-up happens at 85.25. I personally still think it's a little expensive because if you had to tell me, Oracle is one that buys back their stock and actually retires their stock. Next to Apple, they're the biggest one that does this. Year to date, you're up 5%. Over 1 year, you're up 6%. Your target price, your average target price is $96. March 10th, downgrade from buy to hold. January 18th, DA dividend neutral, $85 price target. Mizuho on January 11th said buy at $116 price target. Again, the average price target is $96. If we go down here, there are no buys. They're all sells. Around $89. Look at those. The vice chairman, sale at $82. $32 million. He exercised at $30. He sold at $82. So you don't know. Maybe he was buying a new house for $32 million. Who knows? But again, you look January 29th, $69. I think you've kind of capped out here. I would probably wait. Oracle for me, you got your ex-dividend date coming up on April 10th. They pay a decent dividend, 1.88%. Probably, if you're looking for tech, I'd probably buy IBM over Oracle. I just don't think that Oracle has the growth. I think IBM probably has the room to grow, and they have a big dividend. So IBM is just boring tech. So there's your podcast. Welcome back to me. Sponsors, TrendSpider, obviously. If you want TrendSpider DSP25, they had a 50% off sale this past weekend. It was, again, the only better sale is Black Friday. I guarantee you, if you start using this, you start understanding charting, and you're playing in a lot size that is appropriate. The $300 to $400 for the year, you'll make that back in no time. I can't trade without this. So TrendSpider is the first sponsor. Visible is the second sponsor. If you're paying anything more than $30 a month for unlimited service, go down below. Sign up for Visible. It's a great service. In fact, I was in the middle of nowhere in Crumpler with a guy that has I think he pays $95 a month for his unlimited service through Verizon. It is paid for by his company, so he doesn't necessarily care. But he says, I have to be on Verizon because they have the best network. Boom. I had the same exact coverage, better speeds on Visible. Ironically, I got better speeds than him. I pay $30 a month. He pays $95. $60. Let's see. What's 60 times 12?
It's $720.
You want to save $720 a year? There you go. Visible. The link's down below. Third sponsor is my employer ID shop. If for any of your badges, printing needs, blah, blah, blah. I got contacted by Miss America this week. Looks like I'm doing I probably am doing Miss America, most certainly. But I might be doing the teen pageant as well this year. So, but yeah, idshop.com. They're great. I mean, they are fantastic to work with. Best company I've ever worked for. So sign them up. I am doing MLS in April. So I'll let you guys know. I think Chicago and maybe Texas, Houston are on the agenda this time. So thanks, you guys. Take care. I will talk to you tomorrow. Okay. We did 36 minutes. I say we, like you guys joined me on that one. You joined me on that journey. Let's see DPST. I'm going to go into the Active Trader Pro. And of course, Active Trader Pro is just crawling. Oh, look at DPST. Look at this. 775 this morning. The day range is between 825 and 886. You're trading at 869. Come on, Active Trader Pro, work with me here. I'm going to pull this one back. Wow. What'd James get in at? Let me look back. Loaded. Yeah. James, 10%? You're up? Great trade. But for some reason, my DPST ain't moving on here. I think I got to restart Active Trader Pro. It does this when I start it before the market opens, and then the market opens, and it just doesn't like it for some reason. Here. Let's go here. Why did I do that? Let's go to the 65-minute algo. $10.35 is the next candle. It will probably be a buy. I bet it will be a buy. And Brian, hopefully I answered your question about unemployment. I mean, bad, good, it's all kind of relative. Oh, and I got dogs that are coming in. Whoop, whoop. Wow, the NASDAQ's down? Oh, no. Let me pick up the dog's bed and bring it in. Schwab is at 59. Schwab is up 4%. I think all these banking sectors are flying. Joe, I think you'll be fine. I think it's similar to banks. Now, I don't want to say that, obviously you'll be perfectly okay long term. And if you have profits, I would urge you to take profits. Look at NYCB. Up 40%. And you know why? Because they got Signature Bank at a freaking bargain. So the question is, who's going to take over FRC? And DPST is up on my my screen. Let me grab the dog's bed quickly. Come on. Here's your bed. There you go. We'll cover you up. Okay, there you go. You're a good girl. Want to go under? There you go. Okay. Do not cry. DPST seems to be putting in some, let's see. I mean, that VWAP at 843 seems to be turning over here. It got some amazing volume here in the first. Look at the pre-market. Nelson Peltz is on CNBC, by the way. He's a really, really smart dude. He knows how to manipulate markets, just like Jim Cramer does. One that I wish was doing a little bit better, but I may buy in when we get back to it. Back to a buy is Cleveland Cliffs. This is part of just, hey, the market is just taking this shit down. I've got to log into Anchor and upload this puppy. Quit. Save. New episode. Browse. Podcast. Boom. We're going to insert a transition. Swapping tubes. Swapping tubes. You know what? P code is a good one, I think. Dun, 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 dun. Swapping tubes is. Dun, 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 dun. What's 3 stories? That's a good Monday. We're doing 3 stories. Boom, boom. It's like Seinfeld. Insert ad. Yeah, I was up too. And so when I logged in last night to CNBC to see how things were going, I saw that I think the futures for the NASDAQ was up like 200 points. It was crazy. I think First Republic's putting in a pretty good floor at around 19. But it was up like crazy. And then all of a sudden I wake up this morning and it was negative. And I said, you know what? Shit didn't change that much. I think we're going to have an up day. And I think we are having an up day. So. I love these charts, by the way, on Seeking Alpha. I'll take some screenshots and I'll post them in the private Facebook group. Let me go to Anchor. And then I got a shower, and it is now 35 degrees here in Atlanta. It's a little crazy. Little crazy. Little crazy. Crazy. And for some reason, I'm still getting visible people using my link. TPST. MSFT. BOIL, UCO, SCO, KOLD. Campfire song time. Campfire. I tell you what, there was no freaking way I was camping out this weekend. We got to the cabin, I think it was 22 degrees, and he had those those air conditioner quote heaters that are in the kind of in the wall. That's what he had, with heat pumps, and it took a long time. For what am I gonna name this episode? Let's see. Let's see. We're gonna do. You know what? I need to. AAPL, Amazon, Microsoft, Google, XLK, XLE, XLY, XLV, XLC, XLF, XLF. Black Monday. Yeah, Peltz is right. They have a headline. Peltz, peak of banking panic likely behind us. People just aren't withdrawing their money like they were last week. Oh, I didn't go over UVXY. I probably should go over UVXY. Let's see. The VIX is up. VIX is down at 25. I'm going to name this one. Three 2023. Okay. Publish now. Twitter. I'm gonna go to episodes and we'll go here. And I like DPST, man. James, you did great under 7. Just do not stay in that one long time. I don't want to see your, it's a triple levered ETF, so remember, when you go down 10%, you need 20% to get your money back. Okay. And I'm going to X tweet. We'll close that. Twitter. I'll close this one. And man, I had a lot of people freaking listening over the weekend. I think when the market goes into free fall, people start listening to my podcast. Support the podcast. I probably have to redo that damn thing. I copy it, I know that, but Boom, boom, boom. I don't think people listen to me for my sparkling personality. I could be wrong, but I think people listen to me because they're afraid of the markets crashing. Bum, bum, bum. Bong, 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 bong. Okay, we're going to take those. We're going to tweet that. We're going to tweet this one. Bum, 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 bum. No, you can see them in Virginia there. It was Grayson Highlands in Virginia, Christian. Grayson Highlands State Park. Gray with an A. I always spell it with an E. But it's Grayson Highlands was the park. Very highly recommended, although there were people that started petting the horses and really bugged me. BOIL, BS, SPY, PDD, NEO, UVXY, KRE. We'll just tweet that, 3 of them. Chickateague is, I think that's another place where you can see ponies. I think. I don't know. I don't know Virginia all that well. Let's see. I hate that Anchor doesn't put in. Let's see. Let's do this. You know what? I'm going to do something. We're going to put in a photo. There we go. Upload. And then I'm going to copy link. And I'm going to put it. tweet that. We'll put that in. Why not? Country road. What else did I want to do on charting? I'm going to wait till 10:35. Man, TrendSpider is doing something funky. You know what? I'm going to log out. And I'm going to log back in. Uh, 65. Okay, we're going to run this. Oh, got it. We're going to run this. Run. Oh, man. Why did it do that? Default. Okay, we're in that one. 65-minute. Run. And I'm going to get out of the strategy adjuster. Back in. There we go. 65-minute. Run. There we go. Okay, I'm going to bring you back over to Safari. What does it look like? Oh, okay. Let me see what Safari looks like. Are you guys just not... I got to see what... Oh, it looks okay. I guess it looks fine. I thought the OBS was showing me some funky stuff. Here is the 65-minute algorithm on Cleveland Cliffs, which has you out as of last candle on Friday. Doesn't have you in this candle, but it probably will get you in on this candle. So I may buy in more at $18. But like I've said before, Cleveland Cliffs at $18. You know, your PE is 6. Upgrade. I mean, its average price target is 21. So buying at 20 probably wasn't the smartest thing. But here's a Motley Fool article. Why Nucor and Cleveland Cliffs plunged this week. From last week. Nucor each dropped 8% in the last week. Down U.S. Steel. Released an optimistic business forecast Thursday night. Even though there isn't a direct line from banks to steel, it makes some sense that investors connected them tangentially. If turmoil in the financial sector means a recession is more likely in the near future, companies in cyclical industries like steel could see there quickly. I mean, it's just like oil. It's a commodity, so it's going to see it kind of, shoot down a little bit. The steel companies have announced a series of spot price increases over the last 6 weeks. For example, on Monday, Cleveland Cliffs raised the price of its carbon hot rolled, cold rolled, and coated steel products, including boosting the base price for hot rolled steel to $1,200 per ton. It's a whopping 50% increase from the $800 per ton Cleveland Cliffs received for hot rolled coal as recently as the beginning of February. Similar price increases were also announced by other domestic steel makers. So again, they raised their prices. If this guy's willing to raise his prices, and we're not going to see a reduction in demand because of infrastructure projects and blah blah blah. Yeah, and if they own Nucor, let's get some insider knowledge there, Joe. Help a brother out a little. Nucor's a good one. Nucor and Cleveland Cliffs, I mean, if you want steel in this country, that's where you're going. And guess what steel's going to do? I mean, we haven't even started on the infrastructure projects. And that's what? Isn't that like 1.5 trillion or something? 1.2 trillion? So that's why I'm big on Cleveland Cliffs. I'm bigger at 18 than I was at 20, but I was big at 20 too. By the way, if you're here and you haven't subscribed, hit subscribe and hit the thumbs up button. I'm going to wait for the second candle of this one in a couple of minutes. And then I am probably going to go because I'm going to debate whether I want to buy this one or not. But I have some phone calls to make. Ruse day. I have to get my day going. By the way, a lot of you guys were the discussion from friends. The two guys I went with over the weekend. Who listens to you for that long? Who has time in their day to watch you on YouTube? This is the degenerates. Oh, so I talked of you lovingly. But yeah, listen, Nucor and all of that stuff. I think it's a great buy. Let's look at the heat map. So my weekly stock pick is Microsoft, Amazon down 3%, Google, UPS is down 3%. There's FRC down at 19. See you, Sherry. Hopefully you got something out of today. Illumina. I think, Sherry, before you go, I'm going to look at SMMT. Where are we at? Oh, it's at 166. Is this the 1035 candle just came in? It's a little bit down. I think you got in around this 150 mark, though. Good. I want to look at Cleveland Cliffs. We got to buy at 1805. Cleveland Cliffs. I don't know. Let's see. Market scanner. Let me see. My 65 minute is just a scan. Let's look at the core investments. Ooh. Simon Property Group up 2%. Look at that, 106.71. If we're day trading, there's a lot of day trades on this 65 minute. By the way, if you don't have TrendSpider and you can't do this for fun, you're missing out. 65 minute scanner is a good one. Hopefully. Yeah. Goldman Sachs crossed up here. Look at that. It's 310. 300 was the Goldman Sachs. Yep. Low was 301.87. MPLX is up 1%. Apple is up after being down. Devon has finally kind of made a turn. 2% up. Oxy getting up over 60 again. Qualcomm at 120. Pepsi. Bank of America, 28.35, up 1.2%. QCLN. This one has not been doing well. Hopefully it's run into its bottom. Walmart, man, they're selling so much Walmart. VOO at 361. Yeah, that's a good one. You know, almost the entire core portfolio has had a cross up on the 65 minute. We must be. I think things have turned for the good. Up, Tom Lee on CNBC saying it's the start of a bull run, guys. It's the start of a bull run. He's going to be right at some point. Yeah, today's big winner on the core portfolio is Moderna, up 3%. I'm waiting for Uber under 30, though. I mean, mind you, just back in February, this was close to, this got to 38, and you're at 32, and they had really good, solid earnings. It wasn't a gain, but solid. I wouldn't necessarily buy it here. United Health up 1.2% at 477. Like I said, anything under 500 on this one, great buy. Taiwan Semi, it's now under 90. I don't know that I'd necessarily buy it. I think you're heading back to these gaps down here at 78. So I don't think it's for a long-term buy. Grab the dividend, hold on to it. I don't think you're doing horribly. Again, this was the only time it really passed under the 200-day was when you were really having problems. Last year in December. This was back here in November of 2022. Here, if we go to I'll show you let's look at a weekly. See, you're just kind of hanging on the 200-day on a weekly. I don't think you're doing bad. I think you will get back down here to 63 or so. This was where Buffett took his position because, again, Taiwan Semi. But if you've got Russia and stuff, ooh, look at Tesla, up 3%. Let's run Tesla on this scan. Let's do the strategy tester on Tesla. 65-minute. Are we in this one? It's hanging on the 200-day. Oh, come on. Come on, Trend Spider. Work it out. I think now the Sherry left. I think 15 people left as well. Okay. Let me run this. Tesla, buy at 186 on the 65-minute. So here's Tesla. Here's a good, 6 months in Tesla. This is interesting. I'm sorry, 8 months. This 65-minute algorithm makes you 21% versus if you bought it 8 months ago, you'd be down 28%. You had 80 positions, 37% wins. Your average win is 4%. Interesting. Again, it gets you in and out quicker. There's a little gap up here, about 200. Be interesting. I may get that one for a day trade, but it's up 3% and it got you in on this candle. Okay, I am out of here. I will talk to you guys tomorrow.